Well, some Indiana companies begin to reopen. Employers are looking for ways to verify employees aren't showing symptoms of COVID-19 as they return to the workplace. A small security company in Indianapolis is partnering with Hoosier businesses to test the new health security systems to screen workers when they clock in. Business of Health Reporter Kylie Veleta has more. Kylie.
Thank you, Gary. Hoosier Security likens the current environment to the gold rush for security companies. Demand is high as employers clamor for ways to screen their employees' health before they return to work each day. But in the wake of COVID-19, Hoosier Security President Armando Perez says the market is saturated with equipment that may not deliver on its promises, such as spotting an employee with a fever. He joins me now to tell us how his company is testing security health technology to find which systems are most effective. Armando, thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So give us first a quick introduction to Hoosier Security. It specializes in electronic security systems. You describe your company as an integrator, not a manufacturer. Can you explain that?
Correct. So we're a regional security integrator. What that means is we take electronic devices and we provide a higher level of security, and we make systems work together. So instead of where we might install a camera system, we install a camera system and access control system, make them work together to make the business run more smoothly.
And a couple of names you work with around town: Bosma Enterprises and Andretti Autosport. So now health security systems are getting a ton of attention in your industry. You're testing two new technologies that are on the market. Let's start with the first one. It's an access control system. It can take a person's temperature. Tell us a little bit about this.
So at the beginning of when COVID really started to impact businesses, the security industry responded by starting to promote a lot of different thermal solutions, to use cameras to take temperatures. And we immediately noticed a problem with how they were doing it, in that equipment is not designed for that use case. It's designed to find hotspots in electronics, and it's very different than taking someone's temperature accurately. And we found that there was all kinds of concerns with HIPAA and the NDAA, and even the FDA got involved. So we decided to start looking for solutions that would actually work, and what we found was a lot of marketing out there. So we invested in the research for about a dozen different solutions, and we came to two. One of those is, like you said, the access control system, which looks similar to a tablet. It gets mounted on the wall, and it does a combination of two different types of temperature reading. But it's also very important to note that a lot of this stuff is advertised as fever detecting, and that is not what it's doing. So most of the problems we have with the industry is that they're promoting this hardware, these solutions, as medical devices, when really all they are is enhanced screening. They're really smart. We use AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to detect if somebody's wearing a mask, if somebody has a temperature that is a surface temperature that's higher than a certain level. But all of those things, it's important to note that we're not detecting the presence of an illness, and we're not detecting a fever because we're looking at the temperature of the human being in comparison to their surroundings, not their core temperature.
We're seeing video from Mavericks Event Center, which is one company that has signed on to test the system. You also have a large healthcare client that has signed on. You touched on this a little bit, but talk about this emerging area right now of health security. You've described it to me as it's kind of like the gold rush, but you're really kind of wanting to push back against that. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on that.
Yeah, so a lot of industries have a tendency to jump into new things without fully vetting them. We are uncomfortable putting our name behind anything that hasn't been tested and used in the field. So what we did was we launched a beta program. After narrowing it down from about a dozen to two different solutions, we launched a beta program. We reached out to partners and companies within the Midwest, generally speaking, and had them agree to help us test this. And in exchange, they would give us information for a case study. So what the rest of the industry is doing is going out and pushing this hardware as a solution, because there's this sort of knee-jerk reaction in industry and business to, we have this problem, we have these restrictions, let's just throw money at it. And in my opinion, it's counterproductive.
And a second technology, this thermal camera scanner system, you said it's not getting quite as much traction. Explain that one to us quickly.
So One of our drawbacks is that we're too honest with our clients. If we have doubts about something, we'll let them know. And with the thermal imaging, the thermographic temperature detection, we've had a lot of trouble really getting behind it. And it is a thermal camera that's, again, designed to detect the presence of a human being, for example, and it sees in heat, not in light. It uses that along with artificial intelligence, machine learning, to detect the temperature of the human being that's crossing, coming towards the camera or across the camera or anything like that. And then we can use facial recognition to alert HR, alert their supervisor, alert whoever's responsible for that. But the farther and farther we dig into that technology, the more problems we find with it. So it sometimes gets difficult to sell a solution when you don't 100% believe in it, right? So that's where this beta program has been really eye-opening, because we see a lot of companies buying that equipment at full retail, and we just know for a fact that it's not going to work as intended.
All right, Armando. Well, it sounds like you're going to be busy. You've got your work cut out for you. Thanks for being on the show today and telling us about these two technologies.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Gary, back to you.
All right, Kylie, thanks very much.